Hello and welcome back to Exeter City. It's a bit of a bumper episode just because of the way the fixtures have landed. You'll see why in a moment. But transfers to be dealing with first, I'll get you caught up. We do just have to take a brief moment to respect Matt J, who had finally left on a free at the age of 32. I didn't know he'd joined Weymouth until I clicked on him to do this part, but I love the fact he's gone to Weymouth. Weymouth, you may recall, was in the playoff final in League 2 at the end of last episode. They won the playoff final. They're in League 1. If I just switch to the left-hand side, you can see that their rise has been nothing short of dramatic. I was going to joke that they'd seen the success of Exeter and thought, you know what, we'll try that. Exeter have been promoted 3 years on the bounce to get to the Premier League, and now they've done the same. Admittedly, there was a relegation in their history before that point, but 3 years on the bounce, promotion, promotion, promotion. Now they're in League 1. They are officially, effectively, the highest discrepancy in the league system now compared to the real world situation. But Matt J, thank you for your service. I'm glad you found a good home in Weymouth. Proper outbounds now. Stefan Tiggers left for 900 grand to go to Mainz. We loaned him out to Tenerife last year. He wasn't good for them, but we brought him in to be that rotation target man, and we've obviously upgraded in that position since. Tenerife did survive though, so good on them. One of my former teams, nice to see them stay up. Despite the lack of goals from Tiggers. Toussaint left for £8 million. He's gone to Fulham to be a squad player there, considering he was annoyed at playing time here. Sure. But at 31, he had 1 year left on his contract. It made sense to cash in. £8 million was actually above his price tag for us on our side. Obviously, with a heftier contract on their side, he's worth a little bit more at Fulham. Not the last time you'll see Fulham. Ozan Kusu went to Astana for £12 million. How they've ended up with £12 million, I have no idea. He's worth a lot more there. He's the victim of this. He's this save's victim of development, effectively, of the Exeter squad just continually developing that fraction ahead of him. If at any point we'd halted our progression and not been able to buy better players or attract better players, he'd have probably snuck into the team and developed with us. But he was never in the first team, really, except for that first year he played a little bit and was terrible. So we cashed in on him with 1 year left on his contract as well. £12 million was good. I don't know how he's worth £20 million there, but £12 million was good. The most recent sale, in fact, is Daniel Ballard for £15 million or so. Next up is Daniel Ballard, who's left for £15 million, just a little bit more than £50 million. He's gone to Rangers. His wage there is insane. We've let him go because we've made an improvement in that position. And of course, Cosminio has come in permanently as well as a rotation option. A player that, despite his consistency and big game liking, never really sensational for us. He was theoretically great for Palace. We bought him in because his statistics at the time, I think. And obviously Palace relegated. We managed to get a good deal. We basically got our money back. His value continually decreased for whatever reason. I know he didn't play a great deal last year, but he still played a reasonable amount for his value to maintain itself. So I don't really know why it didn't. Although a former Celtic man, I now realise, in this save, that can't have gone down well in Scotland. But the sale I'd threatened, effectively, at 22, he's still not really developed beyond that 2.5 stars. He's still got the 4-star potential on him, but Wolfsburg offered me 20 million. They've done 10 up front, but 10 over time, which will obviously help mitigate my overtime commitments going forward. Although we still haven't actually done any transfers with it. There might be one before the end of the transfer window now, but yeah, had issues with consistency in general, as listed on his cons there, but I'd argue that's incorrect because he was consistent, but he was just consistently not great. His issue lies in the fact that he's not really either a fullback or a centre-back. He's sort of jack of both trades, master of none. Because his jumping reach isn't good enough to be a centre-back, and his forward ability and his passing ability isn't good enough to be a fullback. So Wolfsburg bought him though, £20 million. Thanks, Wolfsburg. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of loans and things as well. Jan Neubert's been loaned out to Southampton, which I imagine was a particularly begrudging phone call from Southampton there. Stuck in mid-table in the Championship, they've decided to turn to Exeter for a player. How times have changed. Pete Dewhurst. You may recall Pete Dewhurst from a long while back in this save. He is the only time I've ever exercised the first choice refusal in Football Manager ever. Someone in League 2 tried to acquire him off Barnet, who are our junior affiliate, and we went, actually, he's got a decent bit of potential there. He could be a little bit of a money flipper down the line. So we did it. Loaned him back to Barnet that year. We loaned him to Birmingham a couple of years ago. Loaned him to West Brom last year. And he has, in that time, developed. He's a 2.5-star player now, maybe 3.5 if he fully develops. But he's never really going to be anything more than a squad player for us. So Fulham came a knocking. And you may have seen there, no transfer fee. It's also the first time I think I've ever done a player exchange. No transfer fee, just a player exchange. But yeah, as for PG Hurst, he's basically all physical, good mentals, but his technicals are completely lacking. He did obviously get Homegrown Nation, but he never got Homegrown Club because he was always loaned out. So I didn't really mind letting him go, because Fulham gave me an 18-year-old. And you can see there, in Fulham squad, PG Hurst is worth 21 to 29 million. Just bear that in mind. The player they gave me is Stuart Smith. And can you already see why I accepted this? Because A, left back. Thank you for solving that problem for me, Fulham. I've been trying to get a left back that's sort of in between Small and Martin in terms of age and reputation and quality to sort of take over as first choice when Aaron Martin ages out. Now we're just going to persist with Aaron Martin until he cannot be first choice anymore, and then Thierry Small will just probably take over maybe for a year as Stuart Smith develops into a full-fledged player. He can become Homegrown Club. His physicals are okay to begin with, but we can develop those. His mentals are okay to begin with, we can develop those. His technicals are okay, but we can develop those. Little bit lacking on the end product as a fullback. I don't know why he's been listed as a centre-back now either. The crossing's 11. Obviously, I'd love better corners, but we've sort of solved that problem for the time being elsewhere. And with us being in Europe, he could genuinely get some minutes as well off the bench. And if Aaron Martin continues to be injured as much as he has in previous seasons, he could genuinely get some minutes. But it's that 5-star potential. Maybe. Fulham may have just gifted me the best solution to a problem I've ever had. Thank you, Fulham. Just a quick refresh on Cosminho. He will be a rotation option going forward. He'll play alongside Avalos as rotation options. But yeah, he's now here permanently. 2.3 million. Did very well at his club before joining us. The temporary solution to the corner problem, I've opted for Sebastian Szymanski. He's a 3-star attacking midfielder, lacking a little bit in terms of physical presence, but pacey, natural fitness is relatively decent. His mentals are very good, actually, and his technicals are pretty good as well. But obviously, the 16 corners is what stands out there, and he could hold down the attacking midfield position for the next couple of years. Stuart Prazet's obviously there, and Stuart Prazet will be a presence over the course of this season. So between Aaron Martin and Szymanski, we've got corners covered for the most part. And Prieto is good with his right foot and is decent at corners as well. With 16 corners, Szymanski will take them from both sides, whether outswinging or inswinging. But obviously, if he's not available, then Prieto and Martin are very valid backups in that respect on either side. 50 grand is quite a bit, but yeah, just remember we're in the Champions League now. Wage demands have been a huge issue. Sergio Gomez, who was my first choice for the corner solving problem and left back problem, we did get deals arranged with Udinese, where he is now, to buy him. He wanted £210,000. £210,000. I wasn't going to give him any more than sort of 75. He's now gone to Arsenal for 120 grand a week. Still more than I'd have paid him, but a little bit annoying that there's a 90 grand discrepancy there. Speaking of 90 grand, please welcome your new first choice left-footed centre-back. Morato has come in from Bayer Leverkusen, who fails to get Europe of any description in Germany, and therefore a few of their players are a little bit on the market. There's a goalkeeper there for 19 million. Don't need a goalkeeper, but if someone comes knocking for Robert Sanchez, I know where I'm going to replace him. But left-footed, 6'3", so not as tall as Avalos, but 18 jumping reach, which is 3 more than Avalos, who is 5 inches taller. Work that one out. But great marking. Tackling is good, even though tackling doesn't really matter, we seem to think in this year's engine, or at least I think in this year's engine. Heading's good, though. And his passing and technique and his sort of other ball-playing attributes are quite good. 90 grand a week, though, and that did require a fair bit of negotiation in the first place. There is a hilarious litany of bonuses if we win things. But I do question his mentals. None of them are bad, but none of them are particularly good either. But he does stay back, which is a nice trait to have as a defender. Don't want him going wandering. He is injured, so he won't play the first game. And also fairly professional as a personality is very nice to have too. The price tag, 52 million release fee. Yeah. No future, just 52 million. I tried to split it and negotiate it, but by doing that, they kind of wanted a total package worth well over 60, and it kind of got a little bit, I might as well just pay the 52 then. It was a release fee for clubs in the Champions League, which I'll just mention Baba Mansley now. He's still here. One club wants him. It's Chelsea, who hilariously, obviously, aren't in the Champions League. His release fee is for the Champions League. They've come in a couple of times with a future fee on them, like, 20-30% future fee. I've got them up to over 40 at one point, but I was kind of holding up to high 40s. His release fee for Champions League teams is 41, but they're not. So I'm trying to squeeze them for every penny they've got. We are going to play 2 games today because the Champions League draw comes in after the second game. And the game, not content with giving me a ridiculously difficult first day fixture every single year in the Premier League, has given me 2. Liverpool home, Man City away. I joked last year it was on rotation of Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool. Last year we were back on Arsenal again. This year it's given us both of them in the first 2 games, but the wrong way round. Norwich did get promoted, by the way, and won their first game. So they are temporarily top of the table. Enjoy it while it lasts. The lineup going into the first game of the season is as follows. Avalos will start in goal. Martin at left back. It's Ampadu and Cosminho in central defence because there's a suspension to the other Avalos, which has carried over. Tibero right back, Hesham and Markovic in the middle, Szymanski, Fernandez, Eduardo and Uribe will start up front. I'm going to try and play Uribe a little bit more this season. Prieto was injured in pre-season, he's good for 45. Pereira's also returning to fitness and Angelo's also returning to fitness. So in the midfield position, I'm just happy to let Angelo sit out this one. Actually though, Baba Mansi's upset, so I think actually Angelo will make the bench instead of him. So for the first starter here, it's Tibero on the ball with 14 minutes on the clock there or thereabouts. It's Uribe in the middle. It's Uribe who scored. There's excellent work from Tibero on this right-hand side who finds the run of Uribe. It's a good finish. I need Uribe to sort of kick on this year because Prieto will turn, I think he'll turn 30 this year. Or he might even turn 31 in this season. So he's the one that's going to be transitioned, obviously, over the next couple of years. Salah, who is 36 and still playing first-team football. Alexander-Arnold. I was offered the England job and the France job in the summer. I nearly clicked yes. Oh, Reina, that's a great finish. I nearly clicked yes. And then I remembered the star rating issue. And that is legitimately the only reason why I didn't accept it. That and the extra time it does put into your schedule because I'm not really going to show you too much England stuff if I had accepted it. So, yeah, it was kind of basically the star rating thing that was a problem. Gomez, though, on the ball. Back to Alisson. Livramento playing on the left. He's not left-footed. Luis Diaz. João Pedro. Offside anyway. Liverpool on the ball in the second half now. Salah should have scored. Very even game, all things considered, though. Liverpool normally wipe the floor with us, so this is a good showing. Szymanski, who we've not really seen anything of, actually, so far, in any of these highlights. It's usually gone down the sides. Markovic to Hesham. The midfield being involved. Markovic. Back out to Tiberio. Back into Markovic. Cosminho. Hopefully not really had to deal with... Well, actually, we've not seen many highlights either way, but number of shots on target-wise, it does seem like the defence have been relatively busy. Both defences have. Carlos Eduardo on the corner. Why is Carlos Eduardo on the corner? Just fix that. This highlights continue to the point where it's gone all the way back to our goalkeeper and Avalos has hoofed it forward. Uribe on the ball. Tiberio. Still Tiberio. Still Fernandez at the back post. You remember how many of those he scored last year? Liverpool are now brought on Andy Robertson as we give the ball away to Basuma. I do hate the Liverpool team, by the way. It's although starting to get a little bit on the older side. Luis Diaz is in his prime now, but aside from that, Salah's 36. Fabinho in their central defence is 34. I don't really know how old players like Joe Gomez are at this point, but Robertson's on the far side of his prime now, I think, as we go close. Well, they do have some good younger talent. Mariba's come in, Reina's come in, Pedro's come in. It's a bit late to be doing 3 subs, but I'm going to do just that. Prieto's coming on, Angelo's coming on, and Praza's coming on from actually a fairly disappointing Szymanski. He's on a 6.4 coming off. I'll take a point there. Aaron Martin on a free kick has gone for it, and Becker's had to palm that out. Good denial from Alisson Becker there. Prieto on the corner, finds no one. Good work there. Avalos clears, and that's dealt with. 1-1. Not a great deal to see, despite the number of chances all told. 12 shots on target for both teams, and we saw about 4 of those highlights, 2 of which were the goals. It's a little depressing they've got Ravella, and he's on the bench. That's how good their midfield is. Long-term fans of the channel, Valentin Antov is available for reasonable money this summer. I was tempted. But alas, he doesn't really fit our system. Brentford, Newcastle, Norwich, Arsenal is the top 4 going into Sunday. So this has just come through. I wasn't sure, but with Europe and selling Ballard, I just couldn't begrudge Ballard going at 28. He was going to be a squad player. He was going to be 5th choice, essentially. But Romagnoli, I'll be less annoyed if I sort of make him 5th choice. I think he's probably better than Cosminho to start with, so him and Avalos could be the European centre-backs, depending on who we get in the group stages. His mentals are very rounded. His physicals, he's only 12 on acceleration and pace. And at 33, I think he's probably got maybe 2 years in him, and that's what his contract is. His £8 million up front is another 9 if he plays 50 games, which, of course, he'll never do. I've effectively conned Leicester out of 4 million there because they did 112. But he does bring that European experience to the club and just brings that extra level of security. And maybe there's a little bit of panic based on the situation we found ourselves in that first game there with 2 available centre-backs. You know what? Thank God we did make that defensive acquisition because Eric Avalos, now back from suspension, injured. Only a minor one, only out of this game. Same with Pereira, in fact, on the bench, which makes the bench a little bit easier. Avalos, Martin, Romagnoli, Ampadu, Tibero, the rest unchanged. Looking for more from Szymanski. God, that Man City team is ridiculous. Also, Trevor Chalobah isn't as bad as he probably should be. Clearly he has potential in the game, and clearly he's moved into it. Well, it's an early chance, or an early highlight. Anyway, just realised my camera angle's changed, or at least the zoom has changed. Something happened recently with my computer, and it feels like a lot of my settings and everything's just vanished. Carlos Eduardo scored. Last time we came here to this stadium, we won 6-1. Somehow. I'm kind of hoping for a slightly quieter game this time around, but Carlos Eduardo scores. Not with his head. Eduardo himself's been subject to bids, but thankfully he's not really been that interested. Hernandez to Mbappe. Musiala, Frankie de Jong. This is a ridiculous set of names. Hernandez, Musiala, finds Mbappe. That's blocked by Ampadu, who gets it as far as Carlos Eduardo, who of course does get the header, because he decided to jump. Hernandez fouls Uribe, but we keep going. And why is that not immediately called back for the foul then? If you're playing advantage, as soon as the ball is lost, like within the 3 seconds, you give the foul. Does the game not know what advantage is? Anyway, that's cleared for now. Oh, this is going to be a penalty? No? Okay, we're good. Although I've got another corner, which concerns me. Vlahovic doing the Cristiano Ronaldo celebration, it seems. But Vlahovic, just too much power on it, and Avalos palms it into... I mean, the man on the post should have done something there, but of course they don't move. I don't know why I bother with them. The only reason I bother with men on the post is just literally to physically be in the way, because they don't move. You just have to hope the ball hits them. Hernandez, Mbappe, finds Musiala, Frankie de Jong, Mbappe, tackled but maintains the ball. Bernardo, tackled but they maintain the ball. Bernardo will get back on that one because he just shoved my left back out of the way and decided to run on the ball himself. Somehow not a foul. Mbappe, de Jong, Vlahovic, Bernardo. A good finish, but he's offside, thankfully. And another 30 seconds later, there's the confirmation, even though we all knew it because he didn't celebrate with his arms up. Barely offside, but offside. Apologise, by the way, if the game flickers in any given highlight. It's the actual game doing it. It's nothing to do with the recording. Don't know how to stop it. Fernandez, Szymanski, still Szymanski. Szymanski, tackled by Mbappe of all people. Vlahovic heads down to Bernardo Silva, and Martin doesn't get there ahead of him somehow. A little bit of urgency with loose balls would be great from your team. Kimmich finds Vlahovic, and this is 2-1. There's just no way in hell that was ever going to be anything other than 2-1. Yeah, Romagnoli drawn out there and punished as a result. I don't know why he's been drawn out there. I don't know why he's moved into Foden when we've got players like Markovic and Hesham in the middle doing that job instead. Hesham is just a bystander here. If anything, it's Hesham's fault, not Romagnoli's, for not doing his job. Just going to flip him to DLP, see if that makes a difference in that respect. Foden puts the ball into the box from a free kick, and it is cleared by Uribe. 5'9" or something like that, of all the people to get on the end of that. Kimmich puts the ball back in again, and this time centre-backs get in the way. Tibero clears to no one. Uribe, should have been a little bit more alert there. Mbappe, as the free kick lines magically disappear all of a sudden. Vlahovic finds Mbappe, and it's basically the same highlight as the one that Vlahovic just scored. But Mbappe's being Mbappe in the engine. If you ever sign Mbappe in draft mode, you're a lunatic. Romagnoli, Hesham, finds Markovic. He's been booked again. The two centre mids, 6.2, 6.3. I don't know what they're doing, or not doing as the case may be, but they're both coming off. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Mbappe's in. You know, Fernandez is on a 6.4 again, so I'm making 3 early substitutions. Prieta's coming on as well. Avalos finds Tibero, Angelo, Tibero back out again. I just realised I brought Fofana and Angelo on the wrong way round. Does get in the way of that one, and then hoops it forward to, well, it's intended for Carlos Eduardo, but he doesn't make any attempt to challenge that aerially, because why would you when you're 6'8"? That is literally your one job. Musiala, Foden, Angelo, Szymanski, Carlos Eduardo. We'll play in Uribe here. Uribe is clear. He does have options on the... Oh, good God, no, he doesn't. Doesn't need them. Doesn't need them. Well, is this Uribe's time to shine? Give him a little faith. Give him a little game. This is exactly what the 3-striker system should be doing, by the way. It's the perfect example. And I do want to address this because obviously the 3-striker system is something of a talk in the community at the moment, particularly in draft mode. But the way I view the 3-striker system is I view this as the working version of the 4-2-3-1 because inverted forwards, inverted wingers don't work the way they should in this year's game. They don't dribble. They don't sort of make those runs they should do with the ball. So this is the workaround, effectively, is switching those wingers for forwards who get into those positions that they should be doing in the inverted forward, inverted winger version of this formation, which is what Man City are playing. See, there's Musiala, and he's just stopped. Annoyingly, Musiala's just proving exactly wrong. But those are the runs that the inverted wingers should be doing for you. But for some reason, they don't do it for you. They do it for the opponent, clearly. But that's what this bypasses effectively. Also, side note, if you're playing a 4-3-2-1 and you're calling it 4-3-3, stop. Stop calling 4-3-2-1 a 4-3-3. Wingers are not forwards. It's 4-3-2-1. If you're using attacking wide players, it's 4-3-2-1, not 4-3-3. The number of formations I found when I was looking for 4-3-3 tactics that were 4-3-2-1, it's frustrating. Because obviously when I was switching to a 3-striker system, I did research, and Jesus, the amount of incorrectly labelled formations was ridiculous. Vlahovic, that's a wonderful goal, and I hate it. When you play the system that Man City are playing right now, the actual 4-2-3-1, that gets correctly labelled as 4-3-2. That gets correctly labelled as 4-2-3-1. It's 4, a 2, then a 3, and then a 1. Yet for some reason, when the attacking midfielder becomes a defensive midfielder, people call it 4-3-3. Now, I don't know why, and Man City are actually playing like Man City should, which is a little annoying. They are walking us off the park. Good lord. Well, I hate that as well. What's just happened to the camera angle? There we go. Got it back again. That is an irritatingly good finish. And despite conceding 4 now, Avalos is still coming out of this with a relatively good rating because we have been dominated here. And this maybe should have been the time for me to play the defensive midfielder rather than the attacking midfielder, but which would have been an actual 4-3-3 because I have 3 strikers. So there's the money for the group stage, 12.5 million or so. The draw now. Carabao Cup, we've got Blackpool, but that's not the important bit here. We are indeed seeded 4th, of course. First seeds, PSG, Barca, Man City, Bayern, Juventus, Man United, Fenerbahce and Feyenoord, who must have become the next best in the coefficients ahead of... Portugal must have dropped in the coefficients then. So realistically, we don't need to care about this. We get the first 3 out of the way. Then Rangers, Anderlecht, Sparta Prague, ourselves and Wolves are in pot 4. I guess just by virtue of existing, our coefficient is 22 points already. Levante, Dynamo Moscow and St. Gallen from Switzerland have made their way into this. Looking at the groups, we can only get Group C, D, H, well F and E actually, there's more of them. There's only 3 English teams in the first 2 seeds, which is a shame because, it would have been nice to avoid another group here, maybe. But avoid Group E, avoid Group H, avoid Group D. C or F. C or F would be nice. Might as well knock the first 2 out, just because we can't. Now, the fact there's ourselves and Wolves doesn't make this as obvious as well, because they typically like to have an even split in first and second half. Oh, right. 2 danger zones. Oh, sorry, Wolves. That means we probably get F then. Yep. Thank you. Bayern Munich. That's annoying. Benfica and Ajax. I don't know if they're better than Milan and Shakhtar, actually. I don't know if that's an easier group than Milan and Shakhtar. Because Ajax are better than Shakhtar, and Benfica are probably worse than Milan. So it's kind of... It's effectively 2 third-tier clubs, in my opinion, for the Champions League purposes, versus a 2nd and a 4th as opponents. So we'll close out that draw and just be thankful we aren't Wolves. We start with Ajax as well. Ajax will be the next game we play. And we'll follow it up with Newcastle. We'll lead with the Ajax game and we'll follow it up with Newcastle. So yeah, a bumper episode here. I hope you stuck with me for that draw there. And if you have, what do you think so far? Obviously, there's going to be more transfers to do. There's not a lot left in the transfer window, but yeah, still trying to get in maybe another marquee signing. The funding left is not massive, so we'll see what we can do on that front. If we make a sale, obviously that will make things a little bit easier. But I'll see you for Ajax and Newcastle next time out. Until then, ta-ra.